So I've set off 6 set-offs, 2 on Monday of last week to the electric company and the gas company. I saw that the electric company didn't get theirs until Friday evening. The gas company got theirs on Thursday afternoon. Then I sent off 4 more this last Monday, which was the internet, the water, the waste collection, and my car insurance. Now I got a call on Tuesday from the gas company saying, from the general manager saying, we sent this to the CFO, and he didn't know what to do with these things. And the reason the general manager was calling is she'd been doing their taxes for 40 years, and so she had a lot of IRS connections. She said in her 40 years she'd never seen anything like this. Well, that's possible, or they were feeding me a line. Who knows? I told them that they would need to fill out 1099-Cs. They wanted to know what to do with it. So I called Patrick, and he says that's pretty much right what you did. They have to fill out the 1099-Cs, get the money from the Treasury, and that I had explained that they had taken money out of the Treasury, and by setting off this debt, they didn't have to pay that part of the money back. Well, when I called back, they had evidently looked into the 1099-Cs, and they reported that the minimum amount you can send in on a 1099-C is $600, and that what you have to set off has to be within that year. Well, my gas bill was only about $12, but I set off $700. I had really chinched on the gas last year, but I figured once I set it off, I'll turn it up a bit. Well, my gas bill last year was $250, and they said that $12 plus they would only give me $250 per set off in advance, because that's what they expected me to use, and that since that $12 and $250 didn't come up to $600, they couldn't do it. And talking with Patrick, he says they actually interpreted that correctly, that when you send in the set off, it has to be for more than $600, and if you're going to do anything in advance, it has to be within that year. And though I think some companies may do it for a whole year from where they are, but still, even if they had done that for me, their estimate of what a year wasn't enough. So for deals like this, we're just going to have to pay the bills and then send in the receipts to pay the bills. And if you're going to do the set-offs, make sure you're spending $600 a year, and do it all right at the beginning of the year. Now I have the electric bill that they meet all those requirements, and I got their card back today that they finally received it, so I'll be calling the electric company tomorrow. I don't expect the 4 others to get theirs until either late tonight or tomorrow, so I'll follow up on those. Anybody else have any experience with the set-offs?
No, I didn't have any feedback other than I received my cards back and still checking my accounts. No change in the accounts yet, so haven't seen any changes yet.
Well, I didn't see any. Go ahead.
I have experience. I sent in my 1099 to the credit card and to the CFO and to the company that sent me the bill, 2 different addresses. And the credit card company sent back this letter and said, "Thank you for your recent inquiry to the Executive Office of Customer Advocacy at Discover. With priority, your correspondence was referred to my attention." So they're trying to get a hold of me for further explanation.
Well, then you need to go through the explanation that we discussed. That what you're doing is that you are setting off the current bill, and they were required to do it by the citations, so legal citations on the 1099-A, and they do it by filling out a 1099-C. Now, how much did you try to set off?
$2,500.
That should certainly meet the $600 requirement.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, it's up to the CFO to fill out a 1099-C and send it into the Treasury for that amount, and they will get a credit for that amount.
Well, see, I send it to the CFO, and it's the Executive Office of Customer Advocacy that's talking to me instead of the CFO.
Sure, he's ducking it. So call and ask for him directly. And also point out, well, you need to point out to him that you are an individual banker. This is a banking transaction. It needs to be accomplished in 3 days, and if they don't do that, then you report it to the Treasury Inspector General.
Treasury Inspector?
Treasury Inspector General.
Okay.
And you will see in some of the other material that Patrick has provided is faxes to the Inspector General, so we know how to locate them. We have both the Treasury Inspector General to work with and the Social Security Inspector General.
And we have both those addresses?
Yes.
Who's the Treasury Inspector General?
It's on the fax.
Oh, it must be new then, Tom, because I don't have it.
Do you know where the files are?
Yeah, Tom. I know where they are. I just don't get to get on the internet all the time like everybody else do. I gotta go check it out tomorrow.
Okay. Well, there are a lot of files there. You can go to econcurrent.com/divine/files.
Yeah.
And download them all at once. They're easier to download from eConcurrent than they are from Yahoo, but not by much. But I mean, there's a whole folder there, and you should be able to download them. Well, if you don't get to a computer, do you get to it on your own computer, or do you have to go to a library to do it?
I have to go to the library and do it.
And how once you do that, you don't have a computer at home?
Yeah, I got a computer at home. Yes.
Okay. Do you get email?
No, nothing like that. No, I can't. I don't got no internet, nothing at home. I'm in the country.
Okay. So does your library computer allow you to put a USB stick in the computer?
Yeah.
And allow you to
stuff home with me and use it because I bring it home and I put it on my computer here.
Right. So you need to go down and to file 36 Federal Reserve Banking, and it would be good to download the whole directory. But let me take a quick look here.
Tom, you talking about the 2 faxes that came out on the 6th or the 5th? I mean.
Yeah, yes. On the 2nd they came out. One to the Social Security Inspector General, and I don't see the Treasury one here, but he had faxed to the Treasury before, so we need to look for that.
Yeah.
But the files in this directory go all the way back to actually back to June. So there are some files marked here with an earlier date, though I don't know why they are. Well, yeah, that's true. April 25th is the sample SS4 for individual banker, Patrick's, and May the 1st is the online filing example showing how to get the EINs online. And I guess I pulled that from a previous directory so that we would have those examples current. But we started putting other files in this directory on June 17th. However, our current system is current stuff is really going back to about let's say July 31st, the beginning of August. So we do need to find that Inspector General address, and I'll probably have to do a search on the files to see if we can come up with it, or we can just ask Patrick when we see him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Main thing in my mind was Samuel Alito or something like that, but I think he's somebody else.
No, Samuel Alito is when he was going to the chief judge of your district court, and Samuel Alito was his chief judge's boss. Each circuit has a Supreme Court justice assigned to it to more or less to supervise operations. But we're no longer going to the chief judge of the federal district court. Okay, so basically when you do, I want to make sure what I have. When you send in your set-offs, there's a cover letter that goes in, and it's addressed to the utility company. Then there's your endorsed bill and the 1099-A that you fill out for it. And on some of my bills, I had a coupon, so I included on that coupon the amount that the bill was, plus I included on there the total amount of the set-off with the forward funds that I was putting on it. So sending in the set-off is pretty simple.
Is the Office of the Inspector General that you were looking for? I think I have the address for it already in my phone.
Treasury Inspector General?
Nope, it's not the right one. This is Department of Justice. Sorry. That's why I asked.
Okay. Well, he has it in his previous documents, and I guess what I'll do is first. I mean, you can always Google these things, and generally you have a 90% chance of finding it. Sometimes they love to hide it, and they hide it pretty well, which means you have to trash through the website and look at it more closely. And what you really want to do is get his fax number and his phone number, because the way we're contacting them is by fax.
Google isn't really the best way to look for anything anymore because they got bought out and bailed out by the federal government. So now they made them change their algorithm and take select stuff out of the search bar and make it to the 15th page and the 20th page. Now, for me to find it, I go to Bing, and I find it a lot quicker than going to Google.
Where?
Bing, Bing.com.
Okay. Yeah, I use different search engines, but generally so far, Google has accomplished well. Most of what I've been looking at recently has been at the state level.
I want to ask a question about opening up my bank account in my with my new EIN number, and they want articles of incorporation, but my EIN paper says I'm unincorporated. So Do I just make unincorporated articles of whatever?
You don't need any.
Yes, I don't think you need any, but each bank is different. You have to call, because I've been trying to open up a business account today, and I've had to call several banks, and all the requirements are slightly different. Some of them require a state registration. It would be better if you could get to a state bank rather than a national bank.
Okay, state bank. Okay.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
But the ideal is to get a Treasury Direct Express card and avoid the bank.
Is that something I can do even if I'm not on Social Security and a disabled veteran or something?
Well, Patrick has mentioned it before, and this is something I need to ask for somebody, because on the next stuff we'd want to talk about the receipt. The receipt package is a little bit more complex than doing the set-off.
Okay.
For the set-off, all you need is a cover letter, 1099-A, and the endorsed invoice. In that receipt package, when you send it in, there is a form to tell them to send it to the Direct Express card. But you may want to include in your cover letter or have a separate letter attached to that sheet to request them to open up a Direct Express card for you.
Okay.
Your two options is to request them to open up the Direct Express card for you, because basically the Direct Express card is to receive federal payments. Well, once you're being paid for the 1099-As, that's a federal payment.
Yes.
So either do that, or there's also been some posting on the Skype group about how to apply for a Treasury Direct card. I haven't done that yet, so some others may report back to us how to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So because of the more stringent requirements on the set-offs, the $600 minimum, if you can't meet the $600 minimum, then you can't do the set-off. You would then have to go to the receipt process where you pay it, and then you send in the receipt and get paid off. And I don't know whether we're going to find that there is a minimum there, but I don't think so, because these set-offs we're sending to the company. Right, we were then sending our receipts off to the Puerto Rico, but Patrick is getting some feedback that Puerto Rico may not be responding correctly, though it does sound like they did respond in terms of the car that was bought recently. So there may be something going on there. Patrick has suggested in his last call that we send in the Social Security regional office. There are, I believe, 10 regional offices, and you have to go to the document that he posted about the Social Security regional offices to find out which one applies to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Thomas, is somebody else talking?
Go ahead.
This is Steve. It's the Office of Inspector General for the Department of the Treasury and Treasury Inspector General.
Can you do that? Office of what?
This is for. I'll read it to you. I'm on a search right now. Treasury Inspector for Tax Administration -U.S. Treasury. The Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, TIGTA, Tango, India, Golf, Tango, Alpha, was established under the IRS Restructuring and Reform Act of 1998. Contact IRS, let's see, scam reporting, U.S. Treasury Inspector. Same thing, TIGTA, was established January 1999. Hotline.
What's the TA stand for?
It's
Tax Administration.
Tax Administration, yeah.
Okay.
Treasury Inspector, TI, GTA for General Tax Administration.
No, I think it'll be Treasury Inspector General Tax Administration.
Well, this is how they have it. They have Treasury Inspector General Tax Administration, right? That could be it. General for Tax Administration, yeah. Treasury Inspector General, right? TIGTA.
Okay.
And then it says contact IRS impersonating scams reporting U.S. Treasury Inspector. So here's a contact. They have an Office of Investigations, OIG. Okay, Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. Okay, contact.
We want an address, phone, and fax number.
I'm looking for it. I'm going to contact right now.
I have the phone. His name is Eric M. Thorson, Thorson. The phone is 202.
Okay, wait. Eric,
You got to speak up, man. We can't hear you.
What's the last name?
Eric M. Thorson, Thorson.
Okay.
S-O-N or S-E-N?
S-O-N.
S-O-N. Thorson, okay. Thorson.
Phone number 202-927-0650. Or, and it gives you an email, OIG Counsel at...
OIG what?
Counsel, COUNSEL.
Okay.
At oig.treas.gov.
OIG.
Trees, TREAS.gov. But it does not give a mailing address.
Okay, can you say the email was OIG Counsel at OIG, then what?
Dot. TREAS.
Correct, you got it.
TREAS, okay.
Right, so we can call them for the address and the phone number and the fax number.
Did he say .gov or org or something after?
Treasury.gov.
OIG.treas.gov, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Are you recording this call, Tom?
Yep.
Okay, I missed it. I just got on. What were they talking about? I'll listen to the replay.
We're talking about contacting the Inspector General.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Steve.
In lieu of set-offs, and set-offs can't be more than 600. It has to be a minimum of 600, and you have to have it only for the remaining of the year. You can't go pay forward.
That's what this person figured out, but I think some might go for a year in advance, and some might be only for the remaining of the year. I think it's going to be how the particular company reads it.
And they have contractor reporting, but anyhow, I'm looking at, I have an 800 number. Submit a complaint, online forms. You can click on. I'm at Treasury. I'm www.treasury.gov/TIGTA/report.SHTML.
Well, it's going to be much easier.
But anyhow, I got another phone number. I got a fax number too. By phone, I have a 1-800-366-4484.
366-4484.
Correct. And by fax, it's 202
Good.
927 7018.
7018.
What's that for?
Treasury Inspector General. That's 7018.
Correct. 7018. 202 927.
My keyboard isn't behaving.
927-7018 is the fax. The other phone number is the 800. The other 800 by phone, 1-800-366-4484. By mail, here's an address.
Steve, can you post it on the Patrick Devine Group Skype or not?
Yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah, I just posted a phone numbers. You can just copy the link, right?
Oh, yeah, I can do that. I'll just copy the link and then go on Skype. Because when I try to copy the numbers, it starts to copy the whole page. But anyhow, I'll tell you, because it's on a recording, why don't we have the mail? Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. And then underneath that is the word hotline. And it's P.O. Box 589, Ben Franklin Station. 3 words, Ben Franklin Station.
The box.
Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C., 20044 -0589.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. That's Tom.
I got cut off.
Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah, I'll get on Skype in just a second, and then I'll post the link.
Okay.
At the Patrick Devine Group.
Right.
Yeah, coming forthwith. So I found this with Start Page. Start Page is the one that gives you privacy and doesn't report to anybody. But they have access to Google too. But they don't report who's looking. You guys know about that. And I think Patrick likes Dogpile.
I didn't get that address.
Well, I'm hooking up my Skype in just a second. I'll let you know. I'll go back to it.
Can I ask a question while y'all doing that?
Yeah.
My question is, since many of us haven't been able to get our stuff recorded, I mean, and I do remember what Patrick said about, us casting it in iron and, doing it ourselves. But my question is, if there's a way to get it recorded, would that still be us putting our private stuff in the public venue? Which my answer to the question I haven't even asked yet would be no.
Well,
if you record it, you would be.
That's right. So it would be in the public then.
Yeah.
All right. So then I don't need to be recording anything then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this Drew or Baker? I mean, Corey, or who is this?
No, this is Yasharon, man.
Oh yeah, Yasharon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because remember I was supposed to post you that document stating a notice to the county clerk, and I wasn't able to do it because I didn't have my stuff with me that day. I was supposed to send it to you, Steve. I sent you a note telling you why I didn't do it.
Yeah, I sent mine in with certified mail, and they sent it back. They wouldn't do it either. They wanted me to have the law that said they had to do it. So I'm just going to go to the public health department and send it to them, certified mail.
You're talking about the estoppel, and Patrick hold off on that for a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that.
But Tom, can I read something for the recording for something, for what I was supposed to post, but I didn't get a chance to post it? It's only like a half a paragraph.
Okay.
It says, the minute you receive any affidavit is recorded. Should you refuse to record my affidavit once deposited with you, you are committing a crime against justice under the statutes at large, section 5403. And it is punishable by up to $2,000 fine and 3 years imprisonment. If your county attorney told you not to file any documents like mine, you are still responsible, as I do not accept any third-party interveners. Any attorney, district attorney, or anyone from the law and craft are all third parties and do not have a license to make a legal determination in this matter, as they do not represent me and you. The county clerk do not have the authority to represent me. Title. I'm sorry.
Who is saying this?
This is what I had in some notes I had for a minute, but I was finna read the titles he had to go with it. It's got title LXX Crimes, Chapter 4, Crimes Against Justice. That sounds like a code. And then it's another one of the Section 5403. It's got the what you call it? It's got the section and the thing that tells you what it is for. It tells you what 5403 is, and I could read that if you like.
I know, but it'd have to be an article or it'd have to be a U.S. code or something.
But that's what it don't got. It's got Section 5403, and then it tells you, and then it explains what 5403 is, and then at the bottom of it says CSS 5408, 5411, 5412.1, and then I got some more stuff after that.
Well, that kind of excerpt is for writing, not for verbal understanding.
Okay.
But what's the law? What's the law you just said?
My question is, who is saying this? What document is this on, and what is the purpose of that document?
Okay, now Tom, that I don't have. All I have is the sections that this notice came from.
That sounds like some guru pontificating.
That's right. It may very well be that, but once again, it has the sections, and it has 3 sections here: 5403, 5407, and 5408, and then it explains what those are after that.
Okay. And that's what gurus do.
Well, I've made some notes about clerk's lawful filings, and I have it entitled in a document called Untitled number 1. I can post that too. I sent that out before.
You didn't name it in your word processors, because that's what they call any document.
I know. I didn't name it yet. I didn't know what to name it. I was just adding there. It was just notes.
Right.
It's recovering right now. I'll post it up there. It's got information that for people that have that problem, that it's good notes for them to keep.
Well, we don't have that problem right now. Becca from Texas, I think, has something going on. Speakers are in the background. And,
yeah, you got feedback.
I will have to mute her out.
Okay.
Yeah, that was disturbing.
I'll unmute her and see if she cleared it. Did you clear it up?
I'd like to ask a question.
Well, okay, ask your question then.
Okay, on the SS4s about Church of Rome Trust and then the U.S. corporate citizenship entity, is that to replace the other SS4 EINs we've already done?
What SS4 are you talking about?
One that Patrick has posted, Church of Rome Trust, and then there's Patrick U.S. corporate citizenship entity.
What SS4 is that posted on?
Or where is it posted on? I think it's in...
You just said that you saw it on an SS4. What SS4 did you see it on?
It's an EIN application. That's what it is. And
what document are you talking about? I don't think you're talking about an EIN or an SS4.
Yeah, I am. It says SS4, application for employer ID.
Yes.
And legal name says Patrick Devine, U.S. corporate citizenship entity. The executor has his last name first, Devine, then -- Patrick -- executor.
Okay. Are you looking at a file?
I printed it. Yes, I printed it from one of the files. You know, in that the one that's got the newest update. You know that one.
Are you looking at the SS4 that you filled out on April 25th?
I don't know if it's April 25th.
Well, I don't know what you're looking at, and I don't remember that language. He has that language on the current 1099A, but he doesn't have that language on any SS4.
Okay, well, I printed it and I have it, so maybe I can send you an email inside the Yahoo group.
Well,
And then
I will pull up that document and see what it says.
okay, also on this, there's one.
Do you have speakers in the background? Would you please turn them off?
Okay, no, I don't have any speakers. Do I?
You're overmodulating. You're like, if you have a speaker mic on or something, it's really overmodulating.
Is that better?
I don't know. You have to say more.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
we can hear you.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's not kazooing.
Sorry. I don't hear it, of course, on my end. Okay, there's another form. It says grantee settlement template, and it says by my will on this date.
When you talk about a document, you're going to have to identify it. Okay, I am looking at Patrick's SS4 for private individual banker, and all he has on it is his legal name is Mr. Patrick Devine, individual banker, CFO.
Okay, that's not the one That's not the one I'm looking at. I have that one too. I copied that one. I will. I'll try to send you an email and identify it better.
No, if you're going to do this, post it on the Skype group. If you want to discuss it, you need to tell us what you're talking about.
Okay, I sure will. I'll do that.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the form grantee settlement template?
No.
No. Okay. All righty. That's all. I'll be listening. Thank you.
Okay, that doesn't sound like you're looking at recent stuff.
I'll see if I'm not looking at recent stuff. I think I am, but maybe I'm not. I'll double check.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. I started out with the set-offs. The receipts are a bit more complex. And I thought I just brought up the document, but I don't see it here. Oh, here it is. Okay, now, have you guys looked at the new receipt voucher letter to PR-SOF, Puerto Rico Secretary of the Treasury?
Negative.
That basically is the cover letter for when we send in the receipts. And it's addressed to both the Secretary of the Treasury and also the local Social Security region. And down at the bottom is an attachment list of all the things that go into it.
This is a recent one, Tom?
Yes.
File 36?
I think it was, let me check the date here, October 2nd. October 4th, it went up. 3 days ago.
I see it. It looks good.
Okay. And if you look down at the bottom, you need the 1099A that you're sending in for all the receipts, and that's going to have the total amount of the total of all the receipts you're sending in. and it's going to follow the example that Patrick has out there. You also have to have a 1099-V voucher that he provides an example of. That will be the instrument that they use to pay it. In other words, your 1099-A will tell them what to pay, and the 1099-V will tell them how to pay it. The third one is the form that he has in there from the Treasury telling them to send it to my Direct Express card. And that's, if you don't have a Direct Express card, I would suggest including a note attached to that with that, or just send that in and ask them to establish a Direct Express card for you. And if they won't do that, then you'll have to open up ask them to help you with the Treasury Direct Express account. I guess we need to talk to that further. I have a Direct Express card, so that's not a problem for me. I just fill in the number on that. Then you have to include all your endorsed receipts, and then you have copies of your state 56, your trust 56, and then the 56F giving the banker the fiduciary status over those.
I have a question about number 6, the WABN.
Oh, that's right. There, yeah, the version I'm. Oh, right. Mine went over to another page. The WABEN, right.
My question is, it has a reference number in section 8. Now, the copy that I got off the Yahoo group, it has the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution and statutes right next to that. Is that accurate, or should it be moved over or something? All right, Patrick, if you listen, I need to ask you something, man. I need to ask you something about my birth certificate. But I'm going to put it on the wax anyway. The lady at the Illinois Department of Public Health told me that since I did not have a first name on my birth certificate, that any other mortar main account that I had thereafter had to be fraudulent because it had to have both names on it, and that the state should have corrected that, 50 years ago, because I'm 50. And then my response was, well, if that's true, I ordered 5 of them of March of 1992. And this is what I received from them. So shouldn't they pay me back for those ones that was fraudulent and give me new ones that I shouldn't have to pay for? But the only reason I'm bringing any of this up is because if technically I don't really exist for real, I should just leave it like that, shouldn't I? I mean, that's what my question is. I mean, and I know what I'm supposed to be doing and why I need it. But hey, shoot, I don't know. It's going to be.
Well, you want to have a first name to be a real man or woman because the last name is a corporation, and that's just for the dead.
That's exactly my point. So since they messed it up like that, I should just leave it like that and just, I guess, try to get some money and keep on moving and just leave that other cat alone. Since technically I don't really exist for real. I hope I said that right.
I'm trying to think about that. Yeah, you do exist. I mean, corporately, they haven't identified the specific man or woman to a last name. Is that what you're saying? It's missing?
Yes. No,
you didn't have it, or they didn't name you by then, or what?
No. Only my first name is missing. My last name is on there.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have a personal name, or what, is that surname? I think.
Are you named after the father or anything?
No.
Okay.
My daddy is a knight, but they got Lee on my birth certificate.
So you have to do a correction.
Yeah. That's what I'm.
You should do a vital records correction or addendum.
But should I do the correction, or should I just leave it the way it is?
No, because you have to have that in order to get your to be banked onto the land, in order for you to have the account. And just like the estoppel by deed, you're confirming a nothing right now. You have to confirm something.
Yeah.
So maybe by doing the estoppel and doing the confirmation and include the name and make announcement that it was missing or was deleted or omitted or whatever you want to say, that you're at this time doing an addendum, a corrective addendum, like a correctatory grant deed. Your correctatory grant deed, it's like on property, you're correcting your name.
That's what I proceeded to with my affidavit in the first place before we ever even had the conversation I just spoke about. That's what's so ironic about all of this, man, because they said I couldn't make no corrections because it didn't have a first name on it. As a matter of fact, I couldn't even get my passport last year because it didn't have a first name on it. They rejected anything I had to do with my birth certificate between like 05 on up to, let's say, about 06, 07, 08, 010, all in there. They wouldn't let me do anything without the.
Well, download the notes that I posted on Skype, Patrick Devine Group.
Okay.
It's just called Untitled ODT or something, Untitled Document, you know.
Untitled. Okay, I got it.
Open Office. Just download that, and you'll see what your remedies are.
Okay.
What were you wearing when you
Tom, I got disconnected from the web.
Okay.
Again. So I'm calling on my mobile.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were just talking to Yasharan about his first name missing, and he wanted some advice about that. And I told him an addendum or the correctatory grant deed or the estoppel by deed, which is a confirmation or a correctatory grant deed. It's an estoppel by deed, but you can do it estoppel and correction by deed. And
he's basically trying to come up with explaining his name change or what?
Well, his first name, his given name, was never applied to his certificate of live birth certificate. It doesn't have a first name, and he thought it was favorable. And I said, no, it's not favorable because they could at any time just not do it right. You know, you have to make a confirmation, and if you do a confirmation without providing the correct information, you're actually, like, deliberately.
Does he have a first name?
I'm sure he does.
Okay.
I was born breech, so they didn't know if we was gonna live or not. So that's why it was never put on my birth certificate at that time. Make a long story short.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know why I was cut off. My computer, when I'm rebooting it, just told me I'm running out of memory.
What did you do? I put another hard drive on it?
No, I've got 16 gigabytes in this thing. New laptop, dual processor with some kind of device on it that doubles the memory to 32 gigabytes.
Wow, that's
so
enough. That
doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. That should be plenty of power, Tom.
I mean, I got two terabyte drive in my laptop.
Wow, man, you're supposed to be straight juking with that.
Well, a 2 terabyte drive cost $95, so I just took the other drive out and put this in.
Yeah.
You could probably put it on autopilot and fly the whole Milky Way, huh?
Something like that.
Maybe you might need some for that terabyte then. Maybe you might need more memory for that.
No, no. In fact, you could be using that disks for additional virtual memory, but he's not using it.
I got it.
No, the disk itself doesn't take up extra memory space. So I'll have to bring all the browser stuff back up. But we should start looking at the receipts to see if anybody has questions about sending in receipts. Now, Patrick did say this afternoon that we may, instead of sending the receipts to Puerto Rico or the Social Security Administration, actually send them directly to Austin, Texas, with the 1099As. And copy those other people with the full package.
So what's the foreign domiciled tax department in Austin, Texas? Because I tried looking it up, and I couldn't get anything on that. I even called the IRS, and they didn't know what I was talking about, man. I just asked them for the address to the foreign domicile tax department, and they're like, what? What? Okay, all right.
Okay. Well, then I know Verdell has sent some things down there, and we'll just have to go around ourselves internally and see what we're using.
Okay, but
I have no control of the control board right now, so anybody making noise, they better catch it themselves. I'm rebooting the computer.
Tom, for the document you just spoke about, the secretary or the SSA Treasury Regional Agent, that document you spoke about.
Yeah, I was talking about the new receipt voucher.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I just called it the wrong thing.
Pardon?
But my question is, are we, like the A copy still going to Texas, the C copy go to Puerto Rico, and we keep the B copy?
Nope. Yes, we were sending the B copy to Puerto Rico. Yes, what he's saying is send the A copy to Texas where it's supposed to go, but include all that material. Before we were just sending the 1099A and the 1099-6 into Austin. Now we take all the attachments down at the bottom and include that in what we're sending to Austin. Now the open question for me is, do we send the original of the receipt that we're going to send out to Austin?
Yes, since they get the red copy, so everything else got to be, lovely going there, but everybody else should get a copy then. I mean, the C copy should be copied.
Somebody's got like a radio phone or something that sounds like.
Yeah, and I'm not connected yet, so I can't see what's going on.
Yeah, you hear that?
I can hear it, but I can't do anything about it.
Oh, I know. That's why I just made mention of it. Somebody's got to mute out *6 if you're not talking.
It sounds like they're under fire in heavy combat. Space invaders.
Do that $600 minimum apply? Does it apply to receipt? I certainly hope not.
Somebody's just messing with the phone, I think.
Either that or they got a bad connection and they aren't even listening to what we're doing. So who's ever not speaking, please do *6. If you don't even know that your phone is making the noise, please do *6, and that will help us find out.
It's probably NSA.
What was the answer to, do we send the original receipt?
Pardon?
what was the answer to, do we send the original receipt or just copies?
Well, we were before sending the original receipts down to Puerto Rico. But Patrick thinks it may be Austin that needs to be the primary source, in which case we were sent the original receipts there.
Okay.
Now, what he was doing before is he was sending the original receipts to Puerto Rico. No copy of the receipts elsewhere. Now he's saying send a copy of the receipts not only to Austin but to Social Security, the Social Security Administration, and I guess the Social Security Inspector General if we need to. So we have a complete package. We'll be sending those by fax.
But now you just mentioned copy, but he mentioned before to scan them into our computer so we have a record of it. You had to enter the original.
We always need to do that, right? Now, for me, it's easy because I actually fax off my computer. I spend $8 a month for MetroFax, and that means I send out faxes by just putting all the documents I want to fax attached to the email, and send it to MetroFax, and they send the fax out. So me sending out all those attachments to multiple places, that's no problem.
Do we have the Austin address someplace?
You can find it.
So earlier it looks like that's a question, so we'll have to look that up and post it on the Skype group.
All right.
And the Yahoo group, because y'all be
Okay. Well, I guess with this kind of trouble, we're going to have problems continuing. So should we just call off this call?
Yeah, stand by. I'll look up another address for you. You're looking for the Austin, right? Austin IRS?
Yes, Austin, Texas. Foreign Division.
Foreign, yeah.
Can we just reboot the call? Start over?
Well, all it is one person making static. If we find out who it is, they can just, be courteous.
All right.
Out.
I'm gonna delete myself. This is over now.
Surprisingly, it's not doing it anymore.
Did you find that address from Austin, Texas, Steve?
I'm looking. I'm still typing.
Foreign Division.
Does domiciled have 2 or 1 L? 2 L's?
2 L's.
Stand by, I'm still looking. It says the connection is untrusted. It won't even take me into it. That's weird.
Just understand, they make an exception to it.
I'm getting there. I'll get to it. I can't. It says get me out of here, and that's all it says.
There's no understand the risks underneath.
No. Okay, there's four of them in Austin, Texas. I'm looking at them. I'm seeing here what to do.
Okay, we're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah, there's one on 515 South Interstate 35, Austin, Texas. There's one on 800 Brazos Street, Austin, Texas.
Okay. Are you reading from a web page?
Yes.
Can you post that link on the Skype group?
Okay. I'm on yellowpages.com, yeah. Yeah, I'll send it.
Cool, Barb.
Okay, we have to set our modem and a router on this end, and I'm back on. And I guess the person stopped the noise because I can detect it now. Yeah.
Okay, I just put one into Yellow Pages. It has 5 different addresses in Austin. I'll look for some more information.
Okay. Well, that can be one of our projects through the week. Why don't we move on? Is there any other
phone numbers there too, so we could call them up and ask them.
Right. Well, someone said they called up and asked, and we evidently don't know exactly what to ask for, so we need to talk to Patrick about that. Okay. Now, someone was having a problem with the WAEBN.
Yes, I was, Thomas. Question 8. It had a reference number or numbers, and then next to it, it got the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution and statutes on the far right. Okay, my question is, when I printed that out, it had them side by side each other, like the Declaration of Independence was the answer to the reference numbers.
Right.
Oh, it is. Oh, so it's supposed to be there then.
Right. It's a modified form.
Okay. I mean, mine just didn't come out right, Patrick. Thomas. That's why I'm asking it. It didn't come out like it should have.
That may be your word processor then.
That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, and that's why I'm asking that question, just to make sure.
Now, I actually fussed around with this form. He's got it in 9 and 10-point type, and I just made the margins much smaller, and I got it all in 12-point type, so it's a lot easier to read.
Because when I switched mine to 12-point type, everything just moved around then I had to puzzle it back together again.
Because you didn't change the margins.
No, I didn't change the margin.
Because I've got 0.2 of an inch margin at the top. I think a 1/2 inch margins on the side, and 0.6 of an inch on the bottom.
I see.
And if you put one more line in there, it falls off the page. Yeah, Patrick does things with pretty wide margins, and when I see the small type, I think it's a lot easier to read. It's just more understandable to me to see it in larger type. So, are there any questions about the WADN? Because the example that Patrick filled out is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
What kind of name or kind of font did you put? In all capitals or upper lowercase? And I'm thinking we ought to do one for each of our.
That's too general a question. Be specific.
How about W8BEN, Cam?
Yes.
You have for the name or your entity. Do you put that in upper or lowercase or all caps?
Are you looking at the substitute W8BEN form? Are you looking at the substitute W8BEN form that Patrick produced?
Not at the moment, no.
It's because he has an example there. He has his own data in there. That should answer your question. So it tells me you're not looking at the right form.
Yeah, I figure we could look at why we would do it one way versus another, so we can understand the logic behind it, as opposed to following instructions, which.
Oh, so you're trying to compare both forms then?
Yeah, I mean, what's the logic in making your own form other than you can?
I got something to tell you guys. It says Form W8BEN. Please do not send this form to the IRS. It must be returned to your financial institution.
Where does it say that?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the website right now.
Okay.
Thomas, on that substitute IRS, what it says M and then space substitute. What goes in there after M?
What you do is erase the H and the M and the dashes.
The what?
That was a typo.
Oh.
Wow. Thomas,
I looked at this one.
I put my substitute IRS W8BEN form. Oh, man.
Why not just use their form if you're gonna just send it to the withholding agent?
Pardon? What was the question?
Unless you want to. Why not just use the form W8BEN as is, considering it's not going to the IRS but to a withholding agent?
Because it doesn't have the headings we want. Look at the difference in the form. He changed it. And all the other information he has in there about our main account, none of that is there a place to put that on the IRS form.
I went to a IRS Caraco Consulate General to get this information about foreigners.
Okay.
I just posting it right now.
On Skype?
Say that again.
Skype.
Don't forget to put it on Yahoo, Steve.
I don't know how to do that.
No, you can't put links on Yahoo very easily.
You guys have it. You can look, check it out now.
That's the difference between...
These were left and right columns. When I copied it, it made a single column, but the addresses were off to the right of the paragraph right above it.
Well, just as long as you provide us the link, we can go look at that.
Yeah, it's right on the top of the copy-paste I did.
Okay.
It says Caraco, U.S. Consulate Government.gov, Internal Revenue Service.
Where's Caraco?
I don't know, but it's foreign, and that's what we're looking for. It's got no file if you're foreign.
This is not foreign, and that's one of the reasons for the modification. This is not foreign in the sense of a foreign country.
I understand that. You just want to know where it's in Austin to send it to, right? That's what I got.
Oh, in Austin. Okay, very good. But is that the place that says don't send in the W8BEN?
Correct. It's all there.
Okay. I'll take a look at that thoroughly then.
Okay, but what Caraco got to do with Austin, Texas?
It's linked as a foreign thing, because we're foreign to the United States. We're not residents.
I got you.
We're not employees.
It says near the bottom, Form W8BEN, please do not send this form to the IRS. It must be returned to your financial institution. Written Tax Inquiry, Internal Revenue Service, 11601 Roosevelt Boulevard, Philadelphia. And then it has another PDF you can download as a tax guide for U.S. citizens and residents abroad. Publication 54 can be downloaded here. But you go to the link and then you can click on the download and get it, PDF file.
Okay, well, we'll have to read that and interpret it. Because remember, they write it in.
I got you close enough that everybody can look there if they go to the Skype Patrick Devine group on Skype.
Right.
That's where I posted it. The link's right above the copy paste I provided. The time is 6:11 and 6:12 p.m.
That's for you.
Yeah,
for me,
it's our time. My time.
9:11.
Whatever it is, your time. It's an hour and 10 or 12 minutes, an hour and 11, an hour 12 minutes after we started the call.
Okay, very good. Okay, so it looks like then from that, if that's right, then when we send the package down to Austin, we don't include the W8BEN.
Yeah, they don't want that.
Right. Especially a modified one. Well, we'll ask.
You can go to a bank and open a W8 bank account. It's pretty easy if you go to like a big bank like Bank America, or I wouldn't go to Wells Fargo, but Bank America, they have a binder. You just walk in the door and say, I want a W8 bank account, and just give them all your foreign addresses as the one that you're there, because your foreign address is like everybody else's house is blue and yours is red. That's all.
Okay.
The address goes to the center of the street. It's just tracking where you're at. It depends on what color house you want to make it. Is it a blue one or a red one? You want the red pill or the blue pill? So don't get scared about your address, because you're the one that decides if you're foreign or not. So I'm doing pretty good luck-wise as far as finding these addresses.
That's good. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, there's a temporary clerk job in Austin, Texas. You can go work for them if you want. Based on foreign education, you may apply. Temporary clerk if you were qualified based on foreign education.
Well, we'll have to straighten out some of these addresses and all that, and we should get it summarized. Probably put it in a document.
Yeah, the first one I posted, it has a Yellow Pages link, and there are 5 addresses of IRS offices in Austin, Texas. So it has phone numbers, and anybody can call them up and probably find out by making phone calls.
Right.
But all the phone numbers are there on the Yellow Page link that I posted at Skype.
Okay, and once we pull this information together, I'll pull it into a document and post it both on Skype and Yahoo.
Thanks, Tom. That the Mortar Main account on the document that you spoke of, the new one, Thomas. Which one of those get the dashes and which one of those don't get the dashes?
And what form are you talking on?
The newest one you talked about, the new receipt one.
Okay. So where are you talking? You got to be specific as to which location you're talking about.
The third sentence after it says Dear Secretary or SSA Treasury Regional Agent, you know, I got my name there, and then I got my Social Security number with no dashes.
Right.
Should I
After
have
your
that?
name, after your name, last name first, in caps.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, so just to be clear, both of them don't need to have no dashes in.
Yes, that's the same thing is repeated down in the last paragraph.
Okay, yeah. All right. And these don't have a $600. I mean, these $600 minimums too for these receipts.
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Because if that's what it is, I mean, was that $600 minimum?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's cool. As long as it's minimum.
Right.
I know you said it already.
You know, evidently, because the restriction is they have, for set-offs, they have to turn around and file a 1099-C. And it's the restrictions on the 1099-C that caused this issue.
I see.
1099-C must be for $600 and must be for things within the year. So are there any other questions on the other documents? Because we're going to be sending in receipts, and we're also going to be sending in an endorsed certificate of live birth for funds. And the only difference, we use the receipt package, except that the attachment number 4 will, instead of being your endorsed receipt, will be your endorsed certificate of live birth. And evidently, when we send it down to Austin, we don't include attachment number 6, the WABEN Foreign Financial Institution, or the other version that Patrick has.
So what can we use to show our foreign status then, if we can't use the WABN?
I would imagine that basically IRS is saying it doesn't need that. That you're using that to inform your financial institutions, not to inform them.
Okay, and that financial institution would be our bank then.
Well, your financial institution would be your account at your lender.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess that means we keep that in one of our private files then somewhere.
Right. So we're going to be sending it to the Inspector General and Puerto Rico and to Social Security, but not to Austin. That's the way it looks right now. We have to check that out.
Well, Tom, I just got one final question, because I know y'all got to go. Why can't we just go to the Article 3 court and just end all this, just end it all?
Which Article 3 court?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about this stuff like y'all.
That's what Patrick was talking about, to use your baptismal certificate in order to do that. And it seems like anybody that goes into the court, you change the court into the kind of court you want.
Oh, okay. If they let you.
Yeah.
I just got mine, and it was great.
However,
well, tell more about it.
I
just found my baptismal certificate. I located the church, and they had it.
Oh, okay.
It could be that what we could do for that is use the church's ecclesiastical court as our Article 3 court, because it's the Roman Empire.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll run that by Patrick.
The Roman Empire strikes back.
Right, or else you ask your bishop or your cardinal in your area to arrange that.
Yeah, to be the court. Yeah.
But man, how can you bypass? I mean, the church wants you to go. They want you to damn near become a member for like weeks and months and years just to even get baptized, man. What's that about?
No,
they don't do that.
They need to get those.
The ones I've contacted do. They do just that.
Where are you at?
I'm in Illinois.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, you in Chicago?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, as Patrick explained it, there's two entities. There's the Church of Rome, which is the Roman Empire, and then there's the Catholic Church, or its equivalent church, which is the religious part. We're dealing with the Roman Empire, not the churches.
Yeah, I just found out that it was the Roman Catholic Church that I was baptized under.
See, that's what I'm trying to do right there. I'm trying to go there. I ain't trying to go nowhere else to all these little substations.
Well, they're probably doing some presumptions that it's up to you to break them.
Haven't you guys ever seen that video of when the Pope first got installed? All these people, these clergymen from all kinds of different churches. This guy's from Panama. This guy's from Indonesia. This one's from Russia, and they all introduce him. And even the Mormon boys were there. From Utah. They're going there to pay tribute
to the empire
and kiss the ring or whatever they do.
And
sign up and set up their accounts or whatever they do. Like Patrick said, somebody's keeping money somewhere. They're all saying they're making a deal, just like a state bank. Gives the money to the national bank, and then they get credits, and everybody's a chain or a linked office, but all the money goes in the same basket. They're paying their royalties or something. Just like when that Cardinal O'Connor died up in New York, all the dons of all the mafia went and paid tribute to him. Because, like they said, they couldn't last 10 or 15 minutes unless they paid off the cops. They're paying off the local constabularies and the churches in order to operate. It's my guess. I mean, why else would they go there?
To pay their money.
Forget about it.
All right, they tip.
Well, anyhow, I've been checking out all 4 or 5 of these internal revenue services over there. I think it's best. One of them did say, 1099 and miscellaneous is like 1099. It just said miscellaneous after on one of the offices, like what they process. And so, obviously they're processing them.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to sort that out, but at least we now have a selection to work with.
Yeah. And then I noticed one of them was only open on Wednesday and Thursday from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. But only 2 days a week.
That's strange.
They're cutbacks.
Yeah. But by just looking at the websites, you can sort of, U.S. government, let's see, you can sort of tell what's going on,
Well, we should all look at it more closely.
Patrick is probably good at discerning, things like that, like phone numbers and all that kind of thing. You compare the phone numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, Patrick had this thing done a long time ago, y'all.
Okay, so any more questions about the receipt package?
So the final thing that you guys came up with was just what he said before. We scan them, we keep a record, and you sign your name on the front of it so that it's you're like thumbprinting it or you're identifying it as yours, and then you send in the originals.
Right.
But I heard you say copies during the phone call today, Tom, but I think that was just a verbal mistake.
Well, I actually have, there are a couple I'm going to be mailing in, and I do have printed copies. Actually, on some of them I have printed the two and signed them each individually. But yes, I will be putting them in as a scan so I can fax them, because I can't fax, the actual hard copy.
Oh, right, I gotcha. Yeah, you sign. Yeah, so when you're faxing them, you have to do it that way.
Right. But I prepared myself a W-8 and BEN, and then printed 10 copies and signed them all.
But they don't even want them now. So what do we have to do with that? That's for the bank you're going to or working with?
That one location doesn't want it.
Oh. Okay.
It's saying send it to the financial institution.
Right.
And Puerto Rico will qualify as the financial institution. And so would the Social Security Administration, because they're the bank. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I got a question about the receipts.
Do you want to ask it?
How do we know we're not signing our name onto the usury that created those funds? And if so, how do we know when to release it so we don't commit usury?
We're stopping the usury by submitting them and getting the debt canceled off.
Yeah, I think it's written in the cover letter too that he.
Where's the calendar that determines when it is considered usury and not?
We're spending debt money and we're converting the debt money into
credits,
debits or credits.
Yeah, when we endorse the back of it, we're converting them into credits. That gets rid of the usury.
You're not writing on the back of it. You're writing. Oh, you're endorsing it. Yeah, you're endorsing your.
Yeah, we write on the front of it to void the receipt. That's what the debt warranty surrendered by fiduciary, signed individual banker number so and so, and then we have to either endorse them on the back if there's one, or prepare a invoice or worksheet listing them all and then endorse the back of that for everything.
Well, actually, it might start to make sense why they operate with the fictions, which are dead entities anyways, because they meddled all the just water or contracts with the usurer's contracts. So that way they're not harming anybody that doesn't claim that they're not part of that, that there's not that fiction.
Your question was, aren't we still committing usury by doing this? And the answer is no, we're stopping it.
Whereas usury is defined by the times in which a debt is released, so that would mean we would need some sort of a calendar.
We're not charging
whether or not
we're not charging usury. We're putting an end to the current usury.
Well, if the funds were created from interest by the business that committed usury, and we sign our name to it, have we not endorsed the usury?
No, we've canceled it.
You're balancing the books. You're turning debits into credits. You're balancing it. You're zeroing it.
It says that right in the cover letter. We're turning it into credits.
Yeah, positive and the negative.
Right.
No, negatives into positives, yeah, or whatever.
No, the debts are considered positive in their system. Negative is a credit.
Right. Right, in their system.
Well, I get that part. it's how it was created, and
But that's not
our
the question. We're stopping that. We're stopping that. Yes, we all know that the system operates in usury, and we're stopping that. That doesn't mean we're
But it's
continuing
like
usury.
you
We're
endorse your
stopping it.
insurance contract, right? Well, why would I endorse any form of insurance? Insurance itself is usury. And stopping it doesn't say the time scale on it, other than is the time scale of the calendar that determines, you know, when they make this crossover, because it's it has to be based on in nature some way or another to justify.
I think the postal system takes care of the dates or calendar. You're sending it in certified mail.
I simply don't get the time argument. The usury started at one point, we stop it at another.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Usury is either a blessing or a cursing, and you have to unless it's
I mean, but if you know it's a time frame that they use, what is it? What's the formula?
Oh, what's that?
What's the formula for the time frame you're asking about? Because you must have something in mind in order for you to ask that question in the first place.
Well, basically, we have the Gregorian calendar by the church, and then we got the Jewish calendar, and isn't the idea of Jubilee come from the Jewish law?
Yeah, that's the Hebrew.
So then,
plus corporations use another calendar. I think it's a Justinian calendar they go by. Well, at least I know Procter & Gamble do. I ain't gonna say all of them do, but
yeah, but that doesn't change the position in absolute time. Those are just simply reference systems.
Mm-hmm. We're all in sidereal time around the sun, so it's a measurement from a certain reference point, like Tom just said.
No, that's not true at all. Because the Hebrew calendar, they go by 28 days. They go by 28-day cycles, and they never change. Well, otherwise, now the Gregorian.
Yeah, but that's their reference system. It doesn't change the actual position in time.
That's like you're driving on an 18 or a 15 or a 16-inch tire. You're still a mile's a mile.
Yeah, but revolution count too. You already know. I mean, if you get 100 clicks per one cycle, and the other dude get 50 clicks per one cycle, I'm still doing better if I'm getting 100 clicks per cycle.
But your cycles don't line up.
That's right, they don't, because
so you're tapping two different reference systems. It's like one car has a speedometer in miles, and the other one has one in kilometers.
That's
doesn't
right.
change with the actual traffic, with the speed they're traveling.
But see, Thomas, that's exactly what old dude is asking about. Okay, so what time are they using so we can line ours up with that? I think that's what he's saying.
No, we're not. We don't have to line ourselves up with different reference systems. Whenever it started, we're stopping it.
Right. It's just like a lawful note has to have a due date. Our Federal Reserve notes don't have any due dates on them, but everybody has them and spends them. They're a fraud too, because there's no due date. You have to have a due date, and you have to say where the debt originated to be a lawful note.
We can argue this.
And you have to have a time and a place to that it's due. So, there's all kinds of compromises. So just deal with the compromise. It's just,
right. I mean, this is the argument that's going on in relativity. The difference
it doesn't make any sense.
Between a relative system and an absolute system.
Yeah.
And it's an argument that can go on forever.
Right.
However, we do have some sort of a indicator that there is this 7-year time scale going on, because if you go back to the last market collapse.
The Jews don't even obey that to themselves. Sometimes they have a Shemitah and sometimes they don't. It's like, it's irrelevant. It's what man does. It's not what God's doing, and it's not. Jubilee is something that God wants us to do, but we don't do it. Just like we don't rest the field every third year or something.
This has all very little to do with the system. Our current mission is to try to get our debt solved here.
Yeah, you're just confusing it. You're just stirring.
This is just a theoretical argument.
Yeah.
On that note.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's, the idea of usury is based on natural law. It's irrefutable whether man wants to go by it or not. There's still consequences that can't be avoided.
But how can you?
So it might be better that we try to comprehend the usury.
Well, I'd like to see you establish that usury is based on natural law.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, well, based off...
If anything, natural law, the way it's been applied, is against usury.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, because it's only usury if it stays, if it crosses over the 7-year cycle into it, then it becomes usury. But it's not technically considered usury up until the 7th year.
What does this have to do with what we're doing?
Yeah.
Well, because if we're only 2 months away from where they reversed the account, then we might need to turn things around relatively quickly to be right side up. Kind of like in the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, where they had to throw everything off their ship. They had to turn their whole vessel upside down, and then when that 7-year cycle, which I imagine it's the usury cycle, came around, then they were right side up.
That doesn't compute with me.
But I didn't understand
in the movie
7-year usury cycle in the first place. Other than him have to, I believe his name was Lot. No, not Lot. Isaac, Jacob. One of them two sons had to work it off. That's not usury. You know, when you have to pay a debt, only if you charge interest it becomes usury. That's what's unlawful.
Right, and we're getting rid of usury. I don't understand why we're even discussing this.
Yeah.
No, it's just an extraneous issue.
Because if the money or the credit, the contracts, the receipts that we're endorsing, would that not be supporting usury? Because then they'll have that on their books.
Absolutely not. We're killing it.
Yeah, watch The Merchant of Venice. It'll explain that to you real good in that one.
It's true. Excuse me? No.
Because Al didn't want to come up against the blade, so he had to back up. Wow. What should I say? A pound of flesh.
Yeah, this is not a religious argument. We
don't need to have disruptors either.
No doubt.
Well, actually, religion came from science.
If we don't have anything else to discuss, I'd like to pull the calls to close.
Word. Second that motion.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay. Thank you.
Over now. 10-4.
Okay, bye.